The international break is over. Tottenham are back for the North London derby at the Emirates. Should be a cracker, so stay tuned to the end for my thoughts, predicted lineup, preferable lineup, tactics, combined 11 with and without injuries. This video's got absolutely everything, score prediction too, so make sure you do stay tuned. Keen to get you involved too, because this is one that all fans will be watching.
You came along just like a song and brightened my day. Who'd have believed that you were part of a dream? Now it all seems like years away. You know I can't smile without you. I can't smile without you. I can't laugh, I can't sing. I'm finding it hard to do anything, and I feel sad when you're sad. I feel glad when you're glad. If you only knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile without you.
Hope you're all keeping well. If you're new, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into it, and really appreciate firstly everyone that voted for me and nominated me, because I won the Football Content Awards Gold Award in my category Best Young Content Creator. And thanks for all your support across the content in 2025. It means a lot. Thank you from me to you. Firstly, Thomas Frank says that young Japanese defender Kota Kai trained on Friday for Tottenham. Frank also has given a major team update ahead of the North London derby. Frank said Colomwani trained and could play. Pat Matassar and Lucas Bergvar are available. Mohamed Kudus and Archie Gray have trained, and Radi Dragusin is very close to being fit. However, there is no Dominic Solanke. So quick thoughts then ahead of the game. I mean, it's going to be extremely tough. I think it's always one of those games that, as fans, we know is hugely important, but at the same time we dread, in particular, it being at the Emirates. Because, look, I'm an honest Spurs fan, you know that, I know that. We are not at the levels that Arsenal are at, or it'll be this season, or, you know, it'll be the same if the season started again for next year, and it's been the same for the last few years. Arsenal, because the money they spent, and I think the trajectory of the club, they're ahead of us, so it's very difficult. Like, we're going to the Emirates, I know we've got Arsenal got players out, and get to that in a minute, but we go there, like, hoping for a draw, but it's always difficult to get. So at the moment, our results against Arsenal aren't great, but yeah, they're just like another level. They pay more wages, attract, you know, some amazing players. Look at Eze, you know, people wait for that to kind of almost like step up, some would say. It hurts, but what I'm saying is that Arsenal were in a really good place, even with their injuries. And I hate the whole media coverage, right? Because Arsenal got, I'm not one of those Spurs fans, go, Arsenal got no players out of what they're whinging for. Okay, they are missing players, you know, key players as well. You know, Gabriel, and there's so many players you could list. You know, Manweke, Gyökeres, Odegaard. The list just is long. But so is Tottenham's injuries. I know we've got players coming back for this weekend, but, you know, before we got the team update in the press conference, Tottenham had 11 players out. It won't. It'll probably be 7 or 8 come the North London derby, because things seem to have gone our way this week. But the point is, the way it's been painted by the media so far is that it's only Arsenal that got injuries. I just don't agree with that. But anyway, on a positive note, in terms of the game as a whole, I think it should be really interesting. There was his goals, but I don't think there'll be as many goals in this one, because we've got two really good defensive sides. You know, Thomas Frank set his Spurs up more conservatively, and Arteta and Arsenal know how to keep a clean sheet for sure and grind out a result. So there we go, something to note. But lineups then. So start with what I would go with. So if I had the privilege to be Tottenham manager, you know, on screen would be the team that I would go with. There we go then. So of course for Curry in goal, I'd go with Porro right back, Doggy left back, and Van der Ven and Romero as the centre backs. So no real surprise in there. Then, well, firstly, I'd just say it looks like what I'd do is a 4-4-1-1 kind of. That's what I'd do. So then, sitting in front of the 4, I'd have Paulinho and Bentancur. I think I've blasted them starting together at times to double pivot. I think like Wolves at home, you just don't play them together. But having said that, games like this away from home or big games, and this has both of them. Not being funny, it's a Big Six team that are playing big game, and away from home, you've got to start both for that. You know, kind of defensive security more than anything. I know it does limit you going forward. Then have Pat Matassar sitting in front, because my only concern with Paulinho and Bentancur, who's not going to create chances, but it's the legs. Star brings you legs, brings you energy. Box midfielder, I think, could be a pain for Arsenal, and hopefully stopping them, you know, from dictating at least. I think Odobert on the left and Johnson on the right is what I'd go with, having two pacey wingers. I just wouldn't take the risk with Mohamed Kudus if he's just like a 50-50, which he appears to be at the moment. Lucas Bergvall as well, after coming back from concussion, didn't look good for Sweden in the international break. I'll just give him another game. And same with Mwani as well. I wouldn't take that risk with big games like PSG coming up, Newcastle. And don't get it wrong, I know people saying, oh, you've got to take the risk against Arsenal, such a big game. I get that. I'm just been safe and maybe boring and think about the long term. Richarlison up top, so that'd be my team, of course, in an ideal world. I mean, I like Richarlison. I don't think can offer as much. Unfortunately, I think it's time we should move on from him. But Johnson can offer something. But if Kudus is fit and 100% fit, though, I would definitely, of course, start him. So that would be my lineup. But on screen would be what I actually think Thomas Frank is going to go with. So noticeable changes. I think he will go with Jed Spence at left back. I just think, to deal with Bukayo Saka, I think Frank will look at that and go, it makes sense. And the more I think about it probably does. Doggy I like, and I think should be Thomas left back because he has more balance. I think balance is key in a North London derby. But Spence is better in 1v1 defending. I think he's probably better defensively or overall than Doggy, but in particular 1v1 defending. So I think he'll get given the nod to deal with Bukayo Saka. Simple as that. I think Kudus will come in. He's a player that Tottenham can't miss once again, and just everything you do so far since he signed, when he's been fit, has gone for him. I think, yes, he will start with that double pivot of Paulinho and Bentancur. Absolutely. I think he will start with Odobert on the left, who for me has been Tottenham's best left winger this season in my mind. The bar set low, let's be honest with you here, but I think he's still done well. But I think Frank will go Bergvall over Sarr. I just think Bergvall is a player that, really mature, like kind of, head for his age. I just think that Bergvall, when called upon in these tough games, big games, has really stepped up, and I just see it as a really good game for him. Although I'd go with Sarr because the energy in the legs, and because Bergvall, more that I'm worried about his concussion, just didn't look right. I do think Frank will go with Bergvall. If Bergvall's 100% okay, and I'm sure he will be cleared to an extent, but literally confirmed clear, then maybe it's an option. And I think he will go for Richarlison up top, taking no punt on Mwani, but no doubt about it, I would like to see Mwani from the start. There we go then, and before we get to score prediction, of course, new addition to the channel this year, combined 11 then. So let's do mine. So here is mine firstly, which does include players that are currently injured, or it does include injured players. So it's everyone's available for both clubs. Like, when I say available, everyone from both clubs in their squad list, even if they're injured. So I'd go with, as you can see on screen, Raya in goal over Vicario. I'll tell you what, talk you through it. I'll read it out, then I'll talk you through it. Raya in goal, Timber right back, Calafiori left back, Van de Ven and Romero as the centre backs, Kulusevski, Maddison and Rice as a 3, Saka, Gyökeres and Xavi Simons then. So pretty even split. So Raya in goal, I mean, I like Vicario, but Raya for me is just at another level. I think Vicario for 17 million is great recruitment. And I don't think the gap in price should be as much between two goalkeepers when you watch them. But Raya for me just has a little bit more to his game than shot stopping. It feels horrible to go with no Tottenham fullback. Like, for example, Pedro Porro I think is great, but Timber's been such a good right back. So I thought, I've got to get a tiny bit Arsenal representation, to be honest. And to be fair, Calafiori at left back, I mean, Doggy's been out for a while. Spence I like, but I think he's better at right back. So I think Calafiori was not a simple choice, but I think I made my mind up quite early. Van de Ven and Romero as the centre backs, that'd be really unpopular because I know Gabriel, I know Saliba, and this is one where we can do it. Yeah, all of them, even though Gabriel's injured, he can be selected for this in particular one. It won't be in the one we're doing in a little bit, but listen, I will say, not all those Tottenham fans who go that Romero and Van de Ven are levels above Saliba and Gabriel. I think it's more credit to Romero and Van de Ven firstly than it is to discredit Saliba and Gabriel. I think it's extremely close. But I think this season, because of the way Van de Ven's been performing, like in particular attackingly, like using his head to his advantage, using his height to his advantage, utilising set pieces, top scorer across all competitions. That's why I think, just he stepped up a level. Romero's taken that captain's role really well and matured. So last season I would have probably said, unfortunately, I think Gabriel and Saliba get the nod. But for me, this year, Van de Ven and Romero just. Midfield then, I think you've got to have someone like Kulusevski in there when he's fit. People forget he's so versatile, can play in a 10, can play, anywhere centrally, can play on that right hand side. Really like him. Maddison as well when he's fit and up here. I think he's a little tiny bit better. I think Odegaard maybe has a tiniest bit more potential, but I think Maddison, I don't think he's consistent at all. James Maddison maybe a tiny bit more than Odegaard. It's difficult. I don't think either players, both players go missing, but they're both really good players. Rice, I think, it was a no-brainer in there, really. Grocker's down the middle. Again, not really much threat from Tottenham. Got a lot of strikers, but have we really got the quality? Are they fit? And both of those answers to that are no and no, unfortunately. Bukayo Saka on the right. I mean, beating Mohamed Kudus. I mean, it's not plain sailing decision, but Saka's very good for Arsenal. Clear player and confidence, which bias aside, I mean, from a football point of view, you always like to see players in confidence. I go with Simmons on the left then, just squeezing the team, because for me, Trossard hasn't done enough consistently to be in there. Or Martinelli and Manweke. Thought I could put on that left hand side. That was a toss. I think Manweke is a better player, but it's whether it's the right position, not for him. But anyway, last thoughts on this game. I mean, I think for Tottenham to get a draw would be great. And Frank knows, he's spoken about it, how he knows it's significant to the fans. This game does mean more. It's one that you just can't really lose, but someone probably has to lose eventually, because there's been a fair few draws, but it's not going to be a draw all the time. But Arsenal got the upper hand. I think Arsenal should still be favourites. I think at home, momentum, they're forming the Champions League, they're forming the Premier League, and they should still be favourites. But I know it's harder for them because we've got players out and we've got players returning. I get it. I think it should be an expectation rather than an excuse. So, big test for both sides, for Thomas Frank and Tottenham. I think it's interesting to see how we get on, and we've got to be our absolute best if we want to get a result. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you did enjoy this video. Once again, thank you very much for voting for me, for nominating me for the Football Content Awards. I bring on my awards, award on a little plaque on the next video. But thank you very much. And for now, come on, you Spurs.
You came along just like a song and brightened my day. Who'd have believed that you were part of the dream? Now it all seems